intermission, I thought, Sally, you know, I don't have a lot of school stories, like about being in school. But as I was getting a sip of whiskey here, I thought about how I learned to drink. And it's sort of like about the way I personally learned to drink, and also about a sort of long con that my grandmother played on her entire family throughout her entire life. It shows a little bit about how to teach people what you really want. So I grew up Irish and Polish, and I don't know, we always, both sides, you know, everybody's always giving kids a little drink, you know, a little sip of beer, a little sip of whiskey here and there. I even remember from like special occasions, we had kids' glasses of wine. And I don't remember how old I was, but you know, as I've been piecing things together and like, you know, helping my mom do things over the years, and like, you know, I remember sitting around family dinners and everybody has a big glass of wine or a big glass of whiskey and having a little glass of wine, and just like to my hand seemed just about right. So in the process of that, I figured out two things. First, I was probably about 3 years old when we started getting like my own drink and my own glass at every family function. No, we haven't had reunions yet. We never broke apart. And second, what they called a kid's glass was, I guess it's called a cordial glass. It's like a very small shot glass on a stem. My parents don't drink cordials. They drink strictly whiskey, really. So I think the only reason they had this entire kind of glass was so that they could have kids' glasses for alcohol, really, you know? I mean, what my parents always told us that the only reason that they ever had kids was to have somebody mix drinks for them when they got too drunk. So, you know, from a very young age, I learned how to make martinis. Gin martinis we started with, then it switched to vodka sometime in the 90s. And Manhattans, perfect Manhattans, which was always my favorite, to make and to drink, although this is just plain old Irish. And my grandmother, you'd make her a drink, she had all these rituals, you know. She was an old woman, she was like, you know, retired by the time I was really hanging out with her. So she would, you know, have a drink at like, she'd have tea at 4 o'clock, and then at like 5:30 she'd have a drink and a cigarette. She told my mom she quit smoking when we were born, but she just started keeping the cigarettes in a drawer, really, you know, like not smoking around us. So like I'd go over her house and, you know, make her a drink, and she'd have her cigarette, and she'd, you know, stub out the cigarette, and she would just lift her drink. She would just kind of shake the empty glass, and be like, oh, Grandma, do you want me to make you another drink? And she'd be like, how am I supposed to fly with only one wing? And that just became her thing. I mean, like, after she retired, you know, like, she would just, like, family dinners, she'd just hold up that empty glass, she'd be like, Grandma, another? How am I supposed to fly on only one wing? And this is decades ago, you know, and then, like, sort of a little bit along the way, she told my mom a few things, and she was getting ready, she was just getting a little sick and things like that, so she told me, she's like, listen, I just want everyone, like, just for no reason, you'd come over to have lunch with her, and she'd be like, I just want you to know that when I die, I'm going to leave enough money that everybody can have a drink at my funeral. You know, and she would tell us these great stories about wakes that she'd been to, you know, that had gone on for days, and like, somebody else had died by the time that funeral was over, and like, weren't those like good old days, and I was thinking that she really wanted her own funeral to be like that. So, you know, eventually she did die, and, you know, we all went out, and it was very sad, it was very somber, and things like that, which, as you can tell, is a little off, because she was a colorful woman. You know, so my mom gets up at the reception and she says, Marie wanted me to let everyone know that she left money in her will so that everyone could have one drink. So like everybody orders their drinks and everything like that. And we're not a beer drinking family, we're a liquor drinking family. And of course at the end of everybody's one drink, we all almost simultaneously raise our glasses and say, well, how are we supposed to fly on only one wing? So of course they know walls come out and the drinks start flowing, and before you know it, like, there's music, people are dancing. My grandmother also always told everybody that she could jig. She was a great Kaylee dancer, you know, and she was going to teach us one day, but she was really tough. She was always sitting down when she said this. And I don't know if you know about jigging, but you shouldn't really do it sitting down. But she'd be sitting down, she'd be like, yeah, you're just going to go like that, trying it, we were liming. I guess Lord of the Dance was big at that time. So, you know, the drinks started flowing, the dances started going, the stories started flowing, all because of how my grandmother taught us all how to drink.